Welcome back to Vancouver Carpenter for a real carpentry video. In fact, this is more carpentry than usual because we're going to take a drywall return and turn it into a cased finish. Because sometimes people don't actually want to have a drywall return. So come up close. The drywall return is basically, it's just when you wrap the window in drywall, you've got your little vinyl channel right here. You've got a corner bead right here. It's a clean, simple look. People love doing that. I'm not sure if it's cheaper or what, or if they're just happy to have the drywall guy do it so that the progression of the job is moved on a little faster. But it's not necessarily the look that everyone wants, and you can extend the jamb and add casing and make this look more like a cased window. So some people would say you're going to have to remove the jamb. I think if you want to do a perfect job, yeah, you need to remove the jamb so that this part can be solid and extend. But in this case, we're going to just add some little chunks on there, fill them, paint them, and you might get a little hairline that shows up like way down the road. If it's your own house and you know that's going to happen, that could be acceptable. If you're doing that for a customer and they think it's going to be perfect forever, that could be a problem. That's where you'll want to replace the actual sill. But again, we're not doing that. We're going to do it kind of the easy way today. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to check right here to make sure that that's reasonably level. Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. It's out a little bit, but it's not crazy. We're only going to have to do one side on this because the other side butts into the wall. That's nice and level. So what that means is that I can just cut 45s for my casing and it's, going to be pretty easy. Anyways, so I think I'm actually going to start with my casing first, and then we'll know exactly how wide to make this jamb. So I don't have actual casing today, but what I do have is this piece of MDF that I have already primed and sanded the edges. So let's pick a height. If we make this too wide, this won't work. So let's say somewhere right about there. We can make it any size because I'm ripping it custom. What do we have right here? So that is, let's make it a 2.5 inch casing. That's nice and simple. So the first thing that I'm going to do is, I've said a lot of first things that I'm going to do, but what I'm now going to do with this tool, which because I'm too caffeinated and the pressure's on, I can't remember the name of. So now you guys can feel really smart and say it in the comments, but we've got it set to a 1/4 inch. That's what happens when you do too much drywall. You forget the names of your carpentry tools. But we're making a 1/4 inch reveal right here. So the drywall part of this is going to end up just looking like casing. Put one more in the center. One more right here. We'll do one right here and one right here. So this part essentially just acts as your jamb. And we said 2.5, so let's go rip this down to 2.5, a couple of pieces. Okay, just get this set at 2.5. So obviously it would be easier to just buy some casing, but I have this just laying around. And at this point, the job that it's from is paid, so now it's free. Okay, just got to mark where my miters are going to go. So I'm just going up to that line I marked. Easy peasy. Sometimes I'll make a little mark so that I don't get confused as to which way to cut it. I don't usually get confused about that, but I definitely won't when I do that. Okay, a little mark right there. Somewhere in the middle of that fat giant mark. 45. So we'll line up my mark. Plugging the saw in helps a lot. Okay. Oh, I know I'm gonna get a comment if I have these resting on my head. Debatable as to whether or not I'd even be doing it if I was actually not filming the video. Oh, don't take that part out. Vancouver irresponsible carpenter. See, I'm too busy worrying about how much you guys are judging me instead of paying attention to the job. I definitely make more mistakes in videos because of that. Okay, need some sandpaper. Do I have any in my pouch? Yeah, sandpaper. Always a good idea to ease the edges if you're actually, you know, making your own trim. Paint sticks better to that slightly rounded edge. The only reason I'm putting this casing on is because I'm about to film a video plastering this wall, and I want to have an edge to butt up to instead of spewing the plaster over this edge and not having a nice edge here. So that's also why I've primed this first, so when the wet material goes against here, it's not a problem. Next, it's time for glue. I still love this method. Do it all the time. I better make sure I have the pieces right. Would it matter if I glued them any different way? No, it wouldn't. A little heavy on the glue, but that's okay. Just makes it stronger and more to clean up later. Hold it for a few seconds. So for anyone that's not familiar with this method, this is CA glue. I love to pre-glue the miters. It's the best. Been using this Starbond stuff that they sent me ages ago. It's decent, no complaints. They keep on trying to get me to make promotional videos for them, but I don't feel like making a whole video just about this glue. There you go, Starbond. It works. I'll take my $5,000 now. Oh no, they want me to do the whole like affiliate link and buy through this link and get 5% off, and I just can't be bothered to do that. I could if they paid me $5,000. Okay, this has been wicked, this Milwaukee nailer. I love this thing. Again, another $5,000 from Milwaukee now. I wish, man, I'm not that big. Okay, so do we have this the right way here? We sure do. That looks good. That looks good. Everything's lining up just where I want it. We know that drywall plus a corner bead is gonna be 5/8 of an inch thick. So our meat to nail into doesn't even start till right about there. So it's actually pretty easy. If we nail up here, we might not even nail into anything. But if we nail right, sort of smack in the bottom center right there, lots of meat to nail into. That's lined up nice. I said this worked good, but no nails are coming out. I think there's a reason for that. Is it loaded? No, it's loaded, but I loaded it with the bottoms of all the broken ones, so they're not lined up properly. So that's not the nailer, that's me. Good, I still get my 5,000 from Milwaukee. I'm just kidding, you guys. I wonder if I could get like sued for libel for pretending that I'm doing a video and getting money. I'll actually review this nailer someday, but I haven't even used it enough to have to charge the battery. I charged it once, and like in the fall, I break it out about once every month, and it's still always charged. I don't know what just happened. Does it actually need to be charged? No. It's on 3. It's happening because I'm filming. All right, let's try that again. This is kind of embarrassing. I wonder what's happening. I bet you I got a jammed nail in here now. That's what happens when you try and reuse. There, perfect. That was all caused by me trying to reuse the bottom of all bag of all my broken nails. Like, I've actually never had a problem with this. There, good. Now I still get my $5 grand. So probably what happened there is because it's hitting the steel corner bead, I might have actually hit a nail or a screw. Now to get those out when that happens, no big deal. Usually I get a pair of pliers. I don't think I even have that on me right now. Well, I do. It's like 10 feet away from me. But that's solved. That one nailed right in. And if you came here to actually just quickly learn how to do this, I'm sorry. It wasn't supposed to go this way. Now that we've done this, we can sort out how much we want this to overhang. And usually I'll make it the same as what it is right here. So we just need a little chunk of material. It's not going to need to be very long, right? It's only going to need to be like 2 inches long. This sill doesn't feel very solid. Okay, come on. Let's see. We can actually, it bump fires. So a full clip of nails that aren't all broken, it does actually work. Looks like fun. Yeah, it's a good tool. It's a good tool, but don't forget to put it back onto the other mode. I just did that to make this more solid so that our little joint is less likely to break there. So I need a piece of wood. This one should work. It's just a piece of wood. This stuff is usually just pine or fir if it's really old, but generally just pine. So I'm going to do this the easy way. I'm just going to eyeball this. I know they want that roughly the same. So there's our measurement right there. I'm going to scribe right here. You won't be able to see on that angle. And then I'm going to scribe right down here. You can see I got my shape. And I'm going to have to cut the line off if I want it to actually fit properly. Otherwise it'll be too big. To the table saw. Okay, of course the bevel of the saw is the other way from what I want it to be. Probably not much more than 10 degrees. So let's just start with that and see if it's right. I should know what it is, but I haven't done a trim install for a little bit, so I'm a little rusty. That's why I'm making a video, to tell you guys what to do, because I'm rusty. Oh, again, works better plugged in. I unplugged it in case one of my kids comes out and decides to flip that switch. Never a bad idea. That was just a test cut to see if I got the angle right. I'd say it looks pretty close. I'm happy with that. Needs maybe another ½ an inch off to get that line off of there. We are very close. We are very close. There could definitely be faster, easier ways to do this. The point is, we're just trying to get an angle and match this piece as close as possible. Looks like it's like ½ a degree, like 9. There we go. So if I was doing both sides, it would have been way easier to mark the other side, and then I would have not had to push the whole thing through. I could have just pushed, you know, the few inches that I needed through and been able to eyeball it way easier. So just because we were only doing the one side, this was the harder way to do it. Did I leave my tape measure inside? This has a tape measure on it. What do we want here? All right, this is like 1 inch and 3/16. Now we have our tiny little piece of windowsill extension. Pardon me, window stool. The sill is exterior. Okay, that was about a 10-degree angle. It was actually 9, that's what I ended up doing. We get 0, yeah. Okay, there's our little chunk. And if we were doing a whole bunch of them, we have this piece now, which we could do for, you know, all the ones in the house. And also, the whole process gets way faster. Like the first one, you're doing all the figuring out, and then all the rest of them go really fast. All right, let's take a look at that. Yeah, I like it being a bit shorter. I think it looks better. So now all we have to do is kind of sand the edges so it's similar. Glue, fasten it on there, and then start filling it. So while using the CA glue would be really fast for this, CA glue is much more brittle than good old-fashioned wood glue. This hasn't been used for a while, so of course the lid's glued down. There we go. These Glazier's bars, man, there's 101 uses for them, and that's understating it. So I'm gonna sand this edge right here before I put it in, because it'll be way easier right now. And this has a very slight eased edge, so I don't have to do a lot. But basically, I'll be damaging the wall to try and sand this if I don't do it first. Now the question is, what kind of joint do we use here? And I think, honestly, just using a little bit of this, if we can get the glue out of here. A little bit of this on the back side where the wall meets, a little bit of this where the casing is, and some right here. And if you really want, you know, to make sure that it works real well, give it a second to let some of that glue soak in for a minute. Right here we got, you know, a couple pieces of end grain, right? It's not gonna hurt to put some extra glue on there and let that stuff soak in for a minute. That way you don't get a starved joint. And I was thinking that I might countersink it and screw and all that stuff, but I'm actually feeling pretty confident that just some 2-inch 18 gauge brad nails are gonna do a half decent job of holding this guy on here between caulking and all the other stuff. I'm gonna move my hand because I don't feel like having one come out. So we got it there. I'll put another one down a bit lower, angled. Those are just biting drywall. I'm also thinking that it wouldn't hurt to put some going up into the casing. And just for good measure, maybe we'll thread one back into the sill. And I think going the other way won't do much, but why not? That one just needs a little bit of persuading, sticking out of here. And I'm pretty happy with that. Now again, this line, this is gonna show up over time. This is not a guaranteed million, billion% fix. If you want this to hold up like solid wood, make it out of solid wood, replace the sill. But if you want a nice, easy way to change the look of your place from that drywall return into a cased finish, this is going to do the job. And just to make sure that it really lines up, you sand the two of them together. And now I got to do a bunch of filling here to really make it disappear. We'll definitely need to show a finished shot, but yeah, this should get a bunch of wood filler Why don't I just do that instead of talking about it? Dang, that's some old wood filler. Guys, I've been doing way too much drywall. All of my stuff is like too old. But hey, this will be really gluey and hard. It might take a couple coats to get it perfect. Bondo would be a good choice too, but I don't feel like smelling that right now. So we're just gonna do it this way. But that and some paint will be more than good enough. Let's go with that. Okay. I think we're done. This video. Yeah, the rest I'll just have to do after. When this dries, I'll paint it, show the finished shot. Okay, you guys, this is at a couple of coats of paint. It's time we take a more discerning look at it. And I want to be clear, it was kind of just a quick job with one little coat of wood filler. If you really want it to be perfect, generally what you need to do is paint it, see what doesn't look right, fill and sand again. I didn't do any of that. For my garage, it's good enough. And honestly, for most customers, sadly, it would be good enough. So let's take a discerning look at it. All right, first off, let's just get a good look at the sill. So we can see that, yeah, I could have done a little more sanding, a little more filling, and it would have looked straighter. But from back here, it's pretty adequate. Again, for a garage, it's great. One thing that could have helped would have been to add a apron. So that's just another piece of 1x like this underneath here, and that would really help sandwich this in and make it stronger. I wasn't into doing that. But overall, I mean, we could see just painting the drywall return with some pearl trim paint. It's looking pretty good. We get up to here, you know, I mean, I could have put a bit more finesse into the corners, but it's just a quickie little YouTube video. Overall though, it's looking good. You know, and like when you make drywall into your jamb, so that's this part that goes here, when you turn drywall into a window jamb, it never looks perfect. But again, if you want to just get back and take a look at it from where you'll be looking at it most of the time, it looks great. So the level of work that I did, if you're just wanting to change the look of your place quickly and easily, or if you're flipping a place and you want to change it pretty quickly and easily, this is great. This is more than adequate. It's for sure an upgrade in my personal opinion. Anyways, hopefully you guys found that useful. That is how to extend a windowsill and turn a drywall return window into you know, what looks like a trimmed out window. So it's not too hard to do. Hopefully you found this video useful. I want to say thanks for watching. And as always, I hope your project's going really well, but I hope you are doing even better. Till the next one, you guys.